So now moving to page 10 of your book here, the topic which we have to discuss is income and other criteria. Now when we see individual desires, aspiration and goals, we found that people not only think of better income but also have goals such as security, respect, equality, freedom. So apart from good income, we look for these attributes also. Similarly, when we think of a nation or a region, we want to assess their development not only on the basis of per capita income, but we want to compare nations or regions on other parameters also. So what are these parameters then? Well, these are IMR, that is infant mortality rate, literacy rate, what is the literacy rate of the country, net attendance ratio. So these parameters also we have to look in order to see the criteria for development. We have to see in order to assess the development. These can also be the criteria or parameters. Like apart from income or per capita income, we want to judge a country on the basis of these parameters also. Now if we look at table 1.3 on page 10 of your book, now in this table per capita income of 3 states is given, that is Punjab, Kerala and Bihar. Students, in some books instead of Punjab, Haryana is given, and in some books instead of Punjab and Haryana, Maharashtra is given. So according to this is because of the different additions. So please don't get confused. Now according to my book here, I am having the statistics of Punjab, Kerala and Bihar. In your book it might be Maharashtra, Kerala and Bihar, or Haryana, Kerala and Bihar. So don't be confused. Now we find that Punjab has the highest per capita income. So in your case it can be Haryana or Maharashtra, and Bihar is at the bottom. So if we use per capita income as a measure of development, Punjab will be considered as the most developed and Bihar the least developed state out of the 3 states given. So the data is given, and according to data, Punjab is having the highest per capita income. It means Punjab is a prosperous state. The income is more of the people, agriculture, prosperous states we are, Punjab, Haryana, and Bihar is at the least. Now let's have a look at the table 1.4 on page 10. So again one more table is given. So we have to take a look on that table also. In this again the same data is given for the same states, Punjab, Kerala and Bihar, and in your case it might be different. And other columns pertains to IMR, infant mortality rate, literacy rate, and then net attendance ratio. Now moving to page 11, now what does this table show which we have seen on page 10, that is table 1.4. The first column of the table shows IMR, that is the what is IMR? The number of children that die before the age of 1 year as a proportion of 1000 live children born in that particular year. So this is IMR. So it means that in Kerala, out of 1000 children born alive, 12 died before completing 1 year of age. But in Punjab, the proportion of children dying within 1 year of birth is 30, which is more than 2 times. So you can see the data. It is very less in Kerala and it is very high in Punjab. Now in Kerala, students, we have seen the IMR is very low, and this is very good if we compare it with Punjab. But in Punjab we have seen the per capita income is very high. Now why the Kerala is having good position or good hold as far as IMR ratio is concerned? Because Kerala spends 6.5% of its state GDP on health care, and the whole of the Indians spend just over 1% of its GDP on the public health. And Kerala also has the lowest poverty ratio in India, and the state also has the highest literacy rate in India at 94%. So high literacy means people knew which source of information they have to trust, what kind of decisions they have to take, and they are more aware medically also. So this is the reason why Kerala is having very less IMR, and this is very good. If the region is having low IMR ratio, this is very good, and if the region is having high IMR ratio, this is a shame for that region, because this is not good that the child dies even before celebrating his or her first birthday. Now, we have seen that the per capita income of Punjab is more than Kerala, but IMR rate in Kerala is low. So, this is a very good sign, as I told you. It shows that people in Kerala are more aware, educated, they are more, you can say, sophisticated people, scientifically inclined mind they have. So please keep in mind that high IMR is not good for any region. Try to think of the parents whose children die before they even celebrate their first birthday. How painful it must be for to these parents. Next, note the year to which this data pertains. It is 2012. So we are not talking of old times, right? Next is literacy rate. And now let's see the literacy rate. What is literacy rate is now the proportion of literate population in the 7 and above age group. So this is the meaning of literacy rate. So according to table 1.4, again Kerala has the highest literacy rate, followed by Punjab and Bihar. And the last column of table 1.4 shows the net attendance ratio, that is the total number of children of age group 6 to 10 attending school as a percentage of total number of children in the same age group. So according to table 1.4, last column, nearly 30% of the children in Bihar do not even get to go to school. This means that if you went to school in Bihar, more than 1/4 of your class would be missing. So now on the same page 11, we have to discuss now the public facilities. Now we have seen that Punjab has the more per capita income than Kerala, but Punjab lags behind in very crucial areas, like I have told you, IMR. Now why this is so? Because money in your pocket cannot buy all the goods and services that you may need to live well. So income by itself is not a complete and adequate indicator of material goods and services that citizens are able to use. For example, normally your money cannot buy you a pollution free environment or a disease free environment or ensure you that you get unadulterated medicines. Money may also not be able to protect you from infectious diseases unless the whole of your community takes preventive steps against that. This you can easily relate to today's scenario of COVID-19. Here the rich people can easily got infected to this virus, so you have seen that money may also not be able to protect them also. So some of the goods and services can be provided collectively, and that too at the cheap rate. Example, it will be cheaper to have collective security for whole of the locality rather than that each house to have its own security man. Similarly, if we talk of the field of education, what will happen if no one in your locality is interested in studying? Would you be able to study? So the parents who can afford can send their kids to private school, but all parents can't afford private schooling also. We are talking about India. So you are actually able to study because many other children also want to study, and because many people believe that the government should open schools and provide other facilities so that all children have a chance to study. So government provide education to poor students. So if we see the case of India, it's a mixed economy, and here the responsibility is shared by the government also to provide education, free and compulsory elementary education, and medical facilities also. It is a responsibility. PDS you can see. So this responsibility lies on the shoulders of the government in the mixed economy model. Now page 12 of your book. Now earlier we have seen that Kerala has a low IMR because it has adequate provision of basic health and educational facilities. Similarly, in some states the PDS functions well, and in case of Kerala this also happens. And so the health and nutritional status of people of such states is certainly likely to be better.